Hi, everybody. This is Wes. Today, we're going to take a look at the workflow between Command Post and QuickBooks Online for creating bids, contracts, and change orders. Let's jump in. So we're in Command Post. We're going to go to the projects area. We're going to add a new project. We'll put the status at bidding. We'll call this warehouse 11. I'm only going to enter the required information here. I'll come on down to this either bill to or client. I have to select one or the other. And this is the first place where you'll have some information that interacts with QuickBooks. So this is required to match the customer in QuickBooks under which this project will go. Okay, I'll go ahead and save that. And then let's go check QuickBooks. We'll see that project has been created. So here we are in QuickBooks. I'll go down to Customers. And you can see among a number of demo projects, sometimes it takes a little bit to sync up. So let's go ahead and refresh. And there we have Demo Warehouse number 11. So I'll go ahead and enter into that. And this is a sub-customer to the Command Post Hub demo. So if you're familiar with QuickBooks, you could also then convert this to an actual project in QuickBooks, depending on which edition you have. But for now, it's a sub-customer named as a project. That's how QuickBooks handles it, and we'll move on back to Command Post. So here we are in Command Post. Let's create a bid. So we just clicked Manage Bid, and I'll put the due date today. Inclusions, we'll just make something simple. Okay, and then we'll come on down and we're going to add a few line items. These are the line items that will correspond to the estimate eventually in QuickBooks. We'll use design, concrete, gardening. Let's go with 500, 3,000, and 1,000. Okay, I could also show the expanded view. Some versions of QuickBooks have some additional information that you can keep there. I'm going to uncheck taxable. I don't want to have any tax implications on this. And then at this point, if I wanted to go ahead and save this into QuickBooks, I could just click this checkbox and then go ahead and click Save. And that would create the estimate in QuickBooks. Before I do that, I want to use another method. I'm going to save it, and at the same time, I'm going to send it to the client from within Command Post. So I'll go ahead and select that option. Now what's happened is Command Post has created a PDF for me, and then I could download that and handle it externally, or if I would like to send the email within Command Post, I can do that. So I'll go ahead and create the draft email, and then you can see we get automatically the names of a few receivers here, and then I'm going to switch that just to show that I can put any email address in there. And then of course you could edit the subject, edit the content of the body, and then here's the PDF for it. I could just save the draft and come back, or I could go ahead and send it, which I'll do. Now that email has been sent out and it becomes part of the project timeline record here, and you can see that PDF. Okay, so let's go over to QuickBooks and take a look at what's happened there. So nothing has happened in QuickBooks yet, and that's because we decided not to create the estimate in QuickBooks. Let's go back to Manage Bid, and let's assume that we've sent the emails out, maybe had a meeting or two, and we've come back here. Perhaps we updated these costs, and now we know that it's approved. We're going to mark this as accepted. We'll put accepted by myself, for example. We could put a date, and then we'll go on down here. This is all finalized, and we'll click Create QuickBooks Estimate on Save, and we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're still in the bidding phase, but saying everything's been accepted, approved, etc. And then we go over to QuickBooks, refresh, And now we'll see that the estimate has been created here. However, you can see it's still marked pending in QuickBooks status. So let's go back to the command post side. And now let's say we want to convert this bid to an active contract. So we'll use this menu, go down to Mark as Selected Awarded. It's going to update that status to active versus a bid. And then we'll go ahead and date approve. We'll put today. Notice to proceed. We'll put today. Don't need any comments. We'll go next. Okay, so then you can see similar information. There's an opportunity to update. We'll just put in these dates which are required. We'll say it's a week long. We're going to leave the original schedule of values as is. And then we'll go ahead and put create QuickBooks estimate on save. And then we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, let's go back over to QuickBooks and we'll refresh that. And then you can see that we've got the estimate here and it's marked as accepted. Okay, great. Let's keep moving on and we'll go into how to do a change order. So now this menu has changed from bidding to dates and dollars. And so we'll go into manage change orders. We do not have any change orders at the moment. Let's go ahead and add one. Very similar process. We're going to be required to put in some inclusions, and then we'll go ahead with our line items. Let's just go ahead and match them to the original contract. We'll say it's a small change, so we'll go with 100, 500, and 150. Okay. So again, just like in the bidding phase, I could just save it. I could create the estimate in QuickBooks now if I want to and save it, or I could go through the process again of save and send to client. And that's what I'm going to select here. So the same workflow, I'll get the PDF preview, have an option to download, and then go to create draft email, which I'm going to select. So here we are again, and I'm going to go ahead and just put in my name again for the CC. You can see everything's there, and we'll go ahead and send that. So now our project timeline is continuing with emails from the bid original and then change order. And again, I can see that PDF and download it if I need to. Great. Okay, so the only other thing I want to do now is go back into the change order. Let's say we had some conversations, a week went by, talked about the changes, and here's PCO 1. I'll go into that record, and I want to mark it as accepted, okay? And at this point, I'm going to create QuickBooks estimate on save, all right? And then we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, great. So let's go back over to QuickBooks, take a look at what's happened here. So we now have that change order 1 estimate, and we also have it marked as accepted in QuickBooks based on the settings that we selected in Command Post. Okay, let's go back to Command Post and a quick summary of what we did. We went to projects, we created a project, we went into that project. Originally, it was in the status of bidding, so we created a bid, we created a draft PDF and email. We sent that out. We had some approval discussion. We approved it, created the estimate for that contract in QuickBooks and approved it. Then we came back and did essentially the same workflow for change orders on the active project. We created a change order. We created a draft PDF and email, sent that out, maybe had some discussions, came back to Command Post, updated that everything was approved, created the estimate in QuickBooks, and then we ultimately ended up in QuickBooks with the synchronized records for the estimate for the original contract, as well as the change order, and both accepted. Okay, that's it for today. Talk to you next time.